live in transparent domes, but eventually...
Yes, we're going to be huffing each other's stank.
Yeah, but eventually you can transform Mars into an Earth-like planet.
Enough of a seed of human civilization somewhere else. So currently is the case is that we are building the first ship, the first Mars or interplanetary ship right now, and I think we'll be able to do short flights, short sort of up and down flights, probably sometime in the first half of next year.
How SpaceX is going to bring life to Mars in 2030. Did you grow up thinking that Earth is the only planet that could sustain human life? Well, if you answered with a confident yes, there might be some relearning to do, because SpaceX is now determined to bring life to Mars by 2030, which is not too far away. To give you a better context and help you understand the origin of such a deadly sounding yet fascinating idea, I'll take you back a few hundred years to the time when many of the world's most powerful countries were fighting a space race. Led predominantly by the USA and Russia, this space race got governments investing thousands and thousands of dollars in space equipment and rockets. That was until governments lost interest and reduced funding in these areas, and this is when private companies like SpaceX entered the market. If you don't already know, SpaceX is spearheaded by Elon Musk and carries only one mission that sounds impossible to many ordinary people, and that is to make Mars habitable. I'm sure if you have ever read articles or papers on environmental sustainability, you would have come across a common rhetoric, something along the lines of, we need to think more sustainably because we don't have a planet B, or we must save planet Earth because there is no backup option. But wait, is that true? Or is Musk's dream simply a result of some miscalculation and thousands of dollars going to waste? These are some questions that we'll be answering in this video. In May of 2002, tech giant Elon Musk made a fiercely bold entrepreneurial move by founding SpaceX, a company focused on aerospace manufacturing and space transport services that carry a very important goal of reducing space transportation costs to enable the colonization of Mars, and in Musk's words, to save humanity from some eventual extinction event. So far, the first time in 3 billion years now, the human species is looking forward to the possibility of leaving planet Earth for another planet, and so far a lot has been done to make this possible. Together, let's have a look at what SpaceX has achieved, understand what progress has been made, and what are the challenges that still need to be addressed before humans can start living on planet Mars. So Musk had the grand vision of reaching Mars as early as 2010, but by that time all he managed to do was to get one rocket into orbit, the Falcon 9, which quickly gained popularity for its ability to recover its first stage boosters after launching payloads into the orbit, and was undeniably groundbreaking because it significantly reduced the cost and made way for reusable rocket technology. So despite not being able to fulfill the 2010 milestone, SpaceX was going strong.
Scrub, but finally that new Falcon 9 Block 5 rocket lifts off from Kennedy Space Center this evening, and the booster landed successfully on that barge.
Fast forward to 2018, SpaceX then introduces the Block 5 Falcon 9, a marvel that can be easily reused more than 100 times without replacement.
SpaceX is using its Falcon 9 rocket to help launch a satellite into orbit. Let's listen in.
Off of the Falcon 9.
Then in 2019, they achieved another milestone, launching and landing a single Falcon 9 for the 4th time and flying using a recycled nose cone for the first time. This in addition to the Dragon rocket, which was the first commercial spacecraft to be recovered after reaching orbit. This Dragon program was designed to bring people and supplies to the International Space Station, but went through a major disaster when an unmanned rocket exploded during a ground test. However, Musk and the team at SpaceX are not discouraged, and intend to get manned flight in the air sometime in the future. Next up, let's have a look at the Falcon Heavy, which is a rocket created at SpaceX that Musk believes will someday shuttle people and supplies to and from Mars.
Musk pulls off an engineering feat. He sent his own kind of rocket man on board a Tesla Roadster into orbit.
I'm not sure if you can recall this or not, but in 2018, SpaceX even planned a publicity stunt as the Falcon Heavy carried Musk's red Tesla Roadster as a payload. The car, which was playing David Bowie's Space Oddity, will hopefully reach Mars and fall into orbit where it will likely stay for billions of years. With 27 engines, the Falcon Heavy is capable of lifting 140,000 pounds in low Earth orbit, and this makes it the most powerful rocket that can be found on Earth. Now, isn't that huge? If we speak about SpaceX's main vision for the Mars mission, it revolves around Interplanetary Transport System, or ITS for short, which is a reusable rocket and spaceship combination featuring SpaceX's powerful Raptor engine and will power both the booster and the spaceship. The Raptor will be approximately 3 times stronger than the SpaceX Falcon 9's rocket's Maryland engines. The booster, equipped with 42 Raptors, will surpass all previous rockets in power and will be capable of launching about 300 metric tons to low Earth orbit, or LEO for short, or 550 metric tons in an expendable variant. NASA's Saturn V moon rocket, on the other hand, which is a current record holder, can only lift around 135 metric tons, so this will be quite a decent upgrade. Musk envisions the boosters performing about 1,000 launches each, while the spaceships will remain in orbit until Earth and Mars align every 26 months. SpaceX plans on deploying 1,000 or more ITS spaceships, which each of them catering to 100 or more individuals during each Mars window. Each one of these ITS ships can undertake 12 to 15 deep space journeys in its operational lifespan, while each fuel tanker can make around 100 trips to Earth's orbit. So what exactly is SpaceX's timeline for building a permanent habitation on Mars, and how can it be compared to other agencies and their plans for a Mars settlement? The majority of plans for a Mars settlement do not expect a proper living community until a few decades. The United Arab Emirates, for instance, aims for a city of 600,000 by the year 2117. But if we talk about SpaceX, their timeline doesn't appear as stretched. SpaceX is going for a much faster timeline with a series of 10 launches that will start a city by 2050. Musk has even confidently claimed that there will be a city of 1 million on Mars by 2050, transported there by 1,000 starships as has been proposed by a SpaceX venture, with plans about 3 rocket launches per day. Musk believes that the spaceship is the hardest part of the system to get right, so that's where SpaceX is focusing most of its energy. SpaceX is also regularly meeting with NASA and other parties to accelerate work for its Mars mission plans, though there is still a lot of work that still needs to be done to make sure that all passengers are protected, especially against radiation and of course the fear of starvation. If we talk about the plan of action and how things will be executed, SpaceX plans on landing at least 2 uncrewed cargo ships on the Red Planet before sending any humans there. I mean, of course, just randomly sending a few people to a completely different planet before doing any test trials would not be the smartest thing to do. Anyways, these cargo missions would bring supplies such as life support systems and power generators that the first astronauts on Mars will need when they go up there and set up their camp. Oh, also, first uncrewed Mars missions will have the responsibility of confirming whether or not there are enough natural resources present that can provide fuel for 2-way missions to the Red Planet. Another very interesting thing to mention here is that the Mars missions is not just limited to one planet, as SpaceX Mars spaceship is designed in a way that it facilitates the exploration of the entire solar system. Yes, that is true. SpaceX's interplanetary transport system is not expected to colonize Mars, but can also take people out on a tour to Jupiter's ocean-harboring moon, Europa, and beyond. I mean, isn't that exciting? Now, I'm sure that at some point across this video, or perhaps before seeing it, you would have wondered why Musk chose Mars specifically, and why not any other planet for this mission. Well, according to what has been published on SpaceX's website, the planet Mars was chosen because it is one of Earth's closest habitable neighbors, being located at an average distance of 140 million miles and with a decent level of sunlight. Mars's atmosphere is also primarily CO2 with some nitrogen, argon, and a few other trace elements, which implies that plants can be grown there just by compressing the atmosphere. Gravity on Mars is about 38% of that of Earth, so you'd be able to lift heavy things and bound them around. Not only this, the day is remarkably close to that of Earth as well. But one of the bigger problems that Mars poses is that of temperature, and this factor has also been acknowledged by the team at SpaceX. The temperatures there are very low, which do not exactly support human life, but over the years, possible solutions have been proposed to deal with this as well. Initially, Musk proposed that to bring life to Mars, it would be a good idea to first detonate numerous nuclear bombs there to terraform the alien planet, helping it warm up quickly so that it can become more Earth-like, or at least as Earth-like as it can get. However, after he revealed these plans to the public, several questions were asked, and things were reconsidered. Eventually, SpaceX team, led by Musk, proposed a new solution to make the Red Planet warmer, and that's by creating artificial suns. Yeah, you heard me right. Musk now plans to launch thousands of solar reflector satellites around the planet, and these satellites are expected to reflect sunlight and other sources of cosmic heat onto Mars. Although we cannot be sure if this can be executed until the task is completed, this idea, of course, is significantly safer than using nuclear weapons. because we would not be messing with massive radioactive detonations to change the planet's environment. But what do you think about Elon Musk's initiative? Do you think that SpaceX will succeed in its mission to bring life by Mars by 2030? And if yes, would you ever consider going there? Be sure to let us know.